AFTV podcast. In a week that's been rather good for Arsenal Football Club and the Gooners alike, it gives me even greater pleasure to welcome all our Chelsea fans who listen to the podcast on YouTube. It's a great feeling to know that the pod reaches such a cross-section of our football society. I hope you can continue to enjoy the show. So, joining me on the podcast tonight are regulars from the Big Arsenal Discussion, Amanda from Goody Girls Podcast, and Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV. Good evening, folks. How are you? You all right?
Evening.
Yeah. Have you not come down from Clyde 9 yet?
No.
Not really. Don't want to either. I want it to last.
Indeed, quite. Well, we were all at the game. We was all at the game on Monday night. I know, Amanda, you've been chomping at the bit to get things off your chest and you know, talk about how much you enjoyed it. So I'm going to let you start. What did you make of the game? The atmosphere, everything, you know, the result, you know, the feeling, the euphoria.
Well, I haven't been to a cup game at Old Trafford since we beat, I think it was Sheffield United with Seaman and that fantastic save. That wasn't even playing United. The only time I've ever played United and been there was in 1990, and we lost 4-0 or 4-1. So I haven't really properly seen a proper Man United game for about 26 years there. So I was really excited like a child to go back. It's a fabulous stadium. Loved it. And Giles, as you know, we met up beforehand, had a drink, and then had some pictures done outside, and it was just buzzing. And I bumped into a few people I knew when I went on the concourse, and then I got to my seat, and it was a fabulous seat. I was really pleased. Obviously, you don't sit, so I had a great view, and it was just, I felt magical. I would never say that I thought we were going to win. I never said that. I would have taken a draw. I thought we could have got a draw, but I knew that United were there for the taking because they have been shit this season and they weren't great last season. And if we were going to turn up, we could beat them. I also, which is quite funny, put a tweet out about 3 weeks ago saying that Welbeck's saving his goals for Old Trafford. And the minute he scored, my phone, I think someone retweeted it about 3 or 4 times. I don't understand how people look at people's tweets from weeks ago. I don't even know how you do it. But anyway, so I was absolute chuffed for him. I mean, the whole night was just phenomenal. The Arsenal fans, I mean, we knew nearly 9,000 were going to make a noise. I only heard United once or twice. Proud of the way we were, proud of the team. They turned up big time. It was a proper cup game. It's not the old days like Vieira and Keane, and the players that I remember from the late 80s and early 90s. It isn't like that, but there is still major history there. And it was just, I loved it. I loved every minute. I stayed over. So when I got back to the hotel bar, I just chatted to anyone that would talk. And there was Gooners in there. There was Manx in there. And to be fair, the Manx just said he deserved it. They didn't say anything else. And we had a good chat with them. And it was just brilliant. I loved it. It was one of the best games I've been to in many, many years. I loved the support. And I loved the way the team came up to us at the end. And it meant a lot to them. And you know what? Just 2 things I'll say, then I'll move on. You have to give credit to Arsene Wenger. The subs he made were bang on point, because if he wouldn't have taken Bellerin off, Bellerin would have been sent off. Now, I've seen Wenger do that before and not take the player off that's close to a red card. So I want to big him up for that. The other subs were superb, everything. Obviously, unfortunately, with with the Ox, he had no choice. But I thought the way the team set up again were great. But the other thing, oh God, what was the other thing? I've forgotten. Oh my God. I can't remember the other thing.
Are you still Wenger out then?
I still want him to go at the end of the season, yes. I don't wishy-washy. I don't flip-flop or whatever it's called. But I will give... Oh, yeah, that was it. I will give credit where it's due. And I have to be very honest that on the Goonie Girls podcast, I've said for a very long time, up to about 3 months ago, that I did not rate Monreal. I'm not going to deny that, but I have completely changed my view on him. He's actually one of our best players. So, yes, people can be wrong and change opinions. He was good to start with, then he had a really bad patch. But since he's been playing in that position, I have to say he's better than Gibbs. I have to say his positioning, his crossing, my confidence in him has completely grown, and now I want him in the team. So big up for Wenger for doing the subs, and big up to Monreal.
Robbie, you interviewed, I'm going to assume you interviewed fans before the game as well as after the game. What was their feeling, what kind of vibe was there before, leading up to the game, leading up to Old Trafford on the day?
Yeah, before the game, we didn't really interview many fans before the game, but I spoke to a lot of fans before the game, and I must admit, the fans were fairly confident. There was a lot of fans saying that, listen, they think at worst we'll get a draw and take them back to our place. That seemed to be the general consensus with a lot of fans, but I think a lot of fans really fancied our chances before the game, and I could see why. I think it's the first time in a long time that we've gone up to Old Trafford and we've had our proper squad. We haven't gone up there and this player's injured and he's out and this one's out. We had, a real, almost like a selection dilemma for Arsene Wenger. So I think that fans, and me included, I was confident that we could get something up there against Manchester United.
And the atmosphere in the ground, you guys were back down, I was up in the upper tier and that was just electric. What was the atmosphere like down in your part of the ground?
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, it was just, we did a video where it shows the atmosphere inside the ground, and it's absolutely, even the video is electric. I mean, the atmosphere was absolutely brilliant. One of the best atmospheres I've witnessed from our away fans ever. 9,000 Arsenal fans, night game against your, deadly rivals. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing, and I just enjoyed every minute of that game. It was really, really good.
I mean, I took some vines of the fans before the game and after the game. I think Andrew, who come up with us, he did a vine of the fans in the concourse, and that was just unbelievable. It was absolutely it went off the charts. I mean, I was chatting to James Ollie earlier in the week, and he said that, he goes up to Old Trafford with every London club, and he said that the Arsenal support was by far and away the best support ever witnessed at Manchester United's ground.
No, and you know what? And I was chatting to a United fan, this good friend of mine, and he was sat obviously in the United end, and he said the same thing. He goes, I have to admit, you guys made some noise, and to be fair, they made a lot of noise as well, and it was like a throwback to the atmosphere. It was just brilliant, and I really, and I think everybody who went to that game really enjoyed the atmosphere. I mean, that was just old school up there. It was brilliant.
Can I ask you both? I'm going to start with you, Robbie. Where would you rank that in terms of atmosphere? You go up and down the country, even to European games. I mean, where would you rank that in your, if you had in your list of top games away from home?
Well, I mean, listen, that could possibly be number one, because, as I said, it's like such a big ground, Old Trafford. Their fans are up for it. Our fans are up for it. You wouldn't normally have that amount of fans, 9,000. I mean, the atmosphere is absolutely incredible. I think maybe second. I remember when we played Spurs in the FA Cup. Is it FA Cup we played them? I think that was at Old Trafford, and that was amazing that day. But it was amazing. The atmosphere is absolutely incredible, and it was. I think it's that night when it's night games, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it's a night game, the atmosphere is incredible. I remember the atmosphere when we played at the Emirates, when we played Barcelona, when we beat them 2-1. That was incredible as well. But it was fantastic, really was. And
before I go to Amanda, I just want to ask you. I mean, the game itself, tactics, setup. Everything from top to bottom, you were completely happy. I mean, when you saw that Welbeck was starting ahead of Giroud, what was your initial feelings and thoughts?
You know what? I saw that. I was surprised, because I was all week I was trying to put my team together. I always sort of try and do my own predicted team, and I had Giroud starting every time. And then when I saw the formation and I saw Welbeck and Oxlade-Chamberlain in, I was like, you know what? Arsene Wenger's gone for pace in behind. And I thought to myself, first of all, I thought, drop in Giroud, he's been banging in the goals. But then I looked at it, I thought, you know what? Welbeck knows Old Trafford. He's not going to be overawed by it. He knows the place inside out. And Oxlade-Chamberlain, Alexis, I go, that's a really pacey front line. And I really like the look of the team. And I like the fact that Arsene Wenger sort of changed it up and sort of went for that, switched that up and went with a pacey attack. And it worked. It worked perfectly. Monreal was excellent, as Amanda said. The way he took that first goal, I was like, wow, where did he get that from? You know, and like Amanda said, he's one of the most improved football players at Arsenal Football Club. It looks like every time an Arsenal fans take a player as a scapegoat, they always end up throwing it back in their face, because he's done it. Giroud's done it recently as well, and I just say good on both of them. I mean, both of them have showed a lot of heart and a lot of mental strength, you know, to get through bad situations and come back fighting. And I was really, really pleased for Monreal when he got that goal. And I'd say probably my best moment of the night was seeing Welbeck celebrating. I loved that. I absolutely loved that. I was thinking, what must Van Gaal be thinking? You know, Van Gaal's very... You know, very proud man, thinks he always gets it right. I love the fact that and then the fans singing Danny Welbeck and you're all right, brilliant.
It was. Man, I want to bring you back in just briefly. I mean, Wenger went from a 4-1-4-1 to a 4-2-3-1, obviously to accommodate Özil in his preferred position. You talked about he showed he was flexible with his tactics and also in game. Do you see that going ahead? Do you see that kind of flexibility going forward for the rest of the season?
I don't know, because I think he did that against City, didn't he? He did the flexible. We just played exactly similar, I think, with less possession. We didn't look scared. The only Chesney, do you know what? It just gives me nightmares sometimes, that boy. What he only did to Rooney in front of us. Oh my God, I thought I was going to kill him. But, sorry, I just went off scale there. What were we talking about? It's late.
Flexibility. The newfound flexibility in his tactics.
No, I mean, our manager cannot be faulted for the other night. He just cannot. There's nothing. And I always tell you the truth. How I feel, how he acted. He was in his square box the whole bloody night as well. We looked like a team that wanted to win it. We looked like a team that knew we could win it. And you know what? I was with you when it was announced about Welbeck. I wasn't surprised. You are going to play him. The only thing I would say about Danny was he tried too hard. Nothing was coming off for him at the beginning, was it? He was like an excitable kid, which you totally understand. And for him to score in front of us as well, and the winning goal, you could not have scripted it, although I did a couple of weeks ago. And I had proof.
Great testament to his character,
isn't it? It really was.
Oh, you know what? He did have a bit to do. It wasn't as easy as it was a sloppy back pass. I'm just so thrilled for him because, you know, he hasn't scored many goals for us, but he half gives it every game. He's not a slacker. None of our team are. Whatever you think about Ozil, Giles, none of our team are slackers. And Ozil's work, Ozil's work for the first goal was just sublime. I mean, and Monreal's finish was brilliant. You know, we could talk about that game all night because it was fantastic for us. But we are consistently inconsistent because you go back to Monaco and we were diabolical.
Yep.
So this team has that tag that I've always named it as consistently inconsistent. Everyone says to me, what do you reckon? I go, if we turn up, we will win. We can beat anyone if we turn up. It's if we turn up. And I just thought, I'm a bit upset about Rooney's goal, to be honest. I don't know how he got between Koscielny and Mertesacker, considering they're twice the size of him.
They were very far apart.
Yeah, and he just had a free header. Yeah. It was a great cross-in.
Brilliant cross.
I'll give him that. But what I will say is that, you know, we can applaud the team, we can applaud the manager, because I cannot highly praise him enough.
You know what?
Because we were screaming for Bellerin to come off because he was lucky he didn't get sent off.
I want to applaud the referee of that game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
The referee was excellent. I mean, Old Trafford, you know, lots of antics going on from Di Maria, from many other United players, and he didn't buy one of them. He was solid, he was fair, and to be honest, Bellerin was a bit lucky not to get sent off. We have to admit that.
Definitely.
But the referee was brilliant. You know, I mean, some of those, well, he just waved away. And when I watched them on TV, they were obvious dives. But you've seen those given at Old Trafford over the years. And I thought the referee was, we always criticising referees, but I thought the referee was very, very strong in that game. He wasn't taking no nonsense. I mean, Di Maria pushes him in the back. He could have looked round and said to himself, oh, it's Di Maria. I've really, let me just talk to him. He didn't. He weren't having it. Off you go, mate. Who are you pushing in the back? Off you go. The referee was strong. The referee made the game a good game. He made it flow. And just all round, even you speak to neutrals who watched the game, they all enjoyed it. They all loved it. The only problem with that game is that there's going to be more Monday night games.
Yeah. It's obviously
there's a few things they got and everything, but it was a great game.
It was indeed.
It was. I mean, from where we were, the three of us, I thought we'd given a penalty because you can't tell.
Yeah.
I had someone who was on my phone constantly telling me everything that was going on, and he went, "Oh my God, that's embarrassing." And I thought, what? I thought he meant the referee had messed up. He said, "Di Maria is embarrassing," and I said, "Oh great." And then he said,
"Dive in."
Yeah, and it's like both of it. I mean, the thing is, the old United, as you're right, Robbie, would have totally got away with that. I mean, we've seen it year after year after year. But I went to Man City. This is twice I've been to Manchester and twice we've won. I've never been before, as in, for the games. And I thought the ref on the Man City game was great as well. So I just think sometimes we do expect them to be not against us, but for them, Well, and he was A1. Wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, to do what he did, he had to have some balls to send off Di Maria.
And he had balls not to send off Bellerin as well, because, he probably would have been put under a lot of pressure to send off Bellerin, but he decided, he sort of decided the atmosphere of the game, the occasion, it was a little bit, I think he handled it well. I mean, Man United fans would say differently, wouldn't they? But,
you see from last night's game how easy it is for lots of players to surround the referee and influence their decisions. So, hats off to the referee. I thought he was brilliant. All round, everything about the whole game, the atmosphere, the fans. I mean, that's what football was all about on Monday night. That is what football is all about in England, and it was a great credit to everybody who had something to do with it.
After the game, Robbie, you interviewed loads of fans. What was Ty? Were Ty and Claude snogging at the end of the game? What?
Well, we couldn't find Andy Tate, the great Andy Tate.
Oh, that's a shame.
The Man United fan, Andy Tate, we couldn't find him. But listen, all the fans were overjoyed, obviously. I mean, they were just so proud, I think. I think proud is the right word to use. They had pride in Arsenal. There was a pride beaming off of fans they haven't seen for a while. I think probably the last time I saw that, obviously, was when we beat Man City. But it's like a pride. It's like fans felt like, you know what, that's my Arsenal out there. That's what I've been wanting to see for a long time. That we go and we stand toe-to-toe with these guys, no mental blocks, and they were just overjoyed, obviously, but there was a pride amongst all the fans that, you know what, we come here, massive tests. We're the cup holders, the biggest test you can possibly get away from home, and we've done it, and it was brilliant.
Unbelievable. Amanda, I asked Robbie before, I'm going to ask you again, where does that rank amongst your favourite memories? I know Anfield 89 is the top and can never be beaten, but after Anfield 89, where does that rank in your list of great Arsenal memories?
See, everyone says I mention it. Did I mention it? No. Not me. God, yeah, but I've been to cup finals, and I mean, are you talking just a normal cup game?
No, I'm talking about the atmosphere. The atmosphere, the actual atmosphere.
It was one of the best away games I've ever been to, because I haven't done many over the last 10 years. I've done I always enjoy my away games, to be honest. It has to rank as one of the best. It has to. I can't think back over the last 25 years. I can't remember every game, but of course Anfield in my eyes will never be beat. I can't see that ever being beaten unless we get to a Champions League final and win that in the last minute. But it was just brilliant. I think that, and what was lovely was there were so many of us as well. I looked around and I felt, at home. So much, and everyone was singing, and everyone around me was great as well. So I even found the stewards were great. I just thought I had a great 2 days up there. So was brilliant, and I still have not come down from it, really, because people keep saying, "Are you over it yet?" I said, not really, because it was a great match. It was great atmosphere. There was no trouble at all. I didn't see anything. My hotel was round the corner. I had a right laugh with you lot before, and after was great. So for me, it was just a whole package of everything. And obviously, I think for me, Welbeck scoring the goal was just... It's just for him as well.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think you guys have really mentioned it, but it's great credit to our fans, because when it was announced it was going to be a Monday night, I mean, everybody was like, for fuck's sake, the BBC, the FA, they fucked us over with this. Why couldn't they put the Birmingham, get the Midlands derby on Monday and whatnot? And then there was, the talk of there's not going to be enough trains, enough transport, and so on and so forth. But it's unbelievable credit to the club for sorting the transport, and for the fans to come out in their thousands, 9,000 on a Monday night. I mean, I had to skip work. I work from home in the morning. I couldn't even get to work the following morning. I just thought, I'll take this one on the chin, because, I'm not sure I'm going to see this too often. And loads of fans have loads of stories. Everybody had to make their own, arrangements to get up there. I think it was a great credit to the fans. Great credit to the fans. Moving on. I want to talk about ticket allocation. Now, it's been in the news this week. It came out that apparently Arsenal are definitely getting a minimum of 32,000 tickets for the cup final, the semi-final, depending, I suppose, on who prevails between Reading and Bradford. From what I could tell on social media, people were kind of up in arms, and I'm thinking, well, why are you up in arms? The minimum allocation is 32. Why don't you wait until the game is played, to find out how much more we're going to get? I mean, last season, I think we were supposed to get 25, but we ended up with 40,000 plus tickets, and Wigan took a lower allocation. Robbie, what do you make of this?
I think it's a lot to do with the fact that last year we got over 40-odd thousand, because Wigan, they haven't got very good support, so they sent back tickets, so we got more. But obviously, this time around, playing against either Bradford, who they will sell out, and also Reading will sell out. So I don't know. It's always a hard one, because we've got so many supporters. I mean, we could fill it on our own. So people are going to miss out, and it's always really difficult, especially when you've got fans who are going week in, week out, and they miss out. It's always, and then the fact that you then see 20-odd thousand going to the so-called football family, who, when you look across at half time, they've all disappeared, and they haven't really got hardly any interest in the game, or they're on their iPads and taking selfies. I mean, it does really upset a lot of people. But to be fair, 32,000 in comparison to what we got for the final last year, which was about under 20,000, 32,000 is not too bad.
As a minimum.
As a minimum. And as I said, I think that will probably go up. I mean, I reckon probably if we get Bradford, because of the distance they got to travel as well, it will probably go up. But to be fair to Bradford, I think they'd sell out their allocation, because they've got an amazing... They're a city, they've got a big fan base, and I think they would sell out their allocation anyway. But I don't know, it's so difficult. How do you work these things out? I just think that I'd like to see less tickets going to the so-called, they always use this word, the football family. I'd like to see less tickets going to them and more tickets going to the fans. Whether it be Bradford, Reading, or Arsenal fans, they're the ones that are there. I mean, how do you turn around and say to one of those fans who took a day off work or 2 days off work to drive all the way, or take train, or go and coach and go all the way up to Manchester on a Monday night to watch their club, that, hey, actually, now you can't get a ticket to the semi-final? It's so hard, and that's the thing that upsets fans so much.
Amanda, Robbie's made some very pertinent points. The ticket allocations, we don't know how much we're going to get, but not only does these tickets go to the football family, but they also make their way to touts, don't they? I mean, despite the fact, the reason why apparently the FA insist on having a certain amount of tickets for the football family and the wider audience in terms of corporate is because of they have to pay back the money spent on rebuilding Wembley, but it makes an abomination of it when you see the touts, the tickets going on sale for thousands of pounds on eBay and so on and so forth, doesn't it?
The cup games should be for the fans, semi-finals, quarter-finals and the final. It is a disgrace. I seriously, I mean, all fans, every year it happens. Whatever club you are, it happens, doesn't it? Now, we're getting 32,000, yeah? Is that correct? For the semi-final?
Yeah, so far.
Right. Yeah. We probably will get more, because it'll be the same as last year, I'm assuming. That's not the point. The stress you go through trying to get a ticket, then when you do, if we do get through, it's even worse. Because, I mean, every single person, every single gooner who is around will want to go to the final, okay? 25,000 out of 100,000 capacity. It is a disgrace, and the FA should be ashamed, but they don't care. It should be for the fans of that club. We've got 60,000 fans that goes to the Emirates. All right, say 50,000 Arsenal fans. Right, it's a Saturday, the end of May, and you're going to tell me that people are not going to want to go to it. I'm sorry, I'm so livid about it, and it's not because we're in it, and we're not in it yet. We're not in the final yet. I feel like this every year for every club, and I think every club should give their tickets back to the clubs that are in it. 10 tickets here for this referees association. What? So they can go for a jolly to Wembley, where it means absolutely everything to us. Can you imagine if, I mean, me, myself, my dad, and my cousin who go every single Emirates game, every single Highbury game. I go away now. My dad can't go away because he can't stand up. Otherwise, he would have been to a few matches. My cousin's son goes away. Can you imagine if we don't get tickets? And that's just us. I mean, we're not any special to anybody else. But, you know, and that is what gets me, that we're not guaranteed. When we used to be at Highbury, we were guaranteed because the capacity was smaller. I never had a problem, never even thought about it. This is just, it just takes the fun out of it. It really does, the excitement until you get your ticket. And then when people don't get tickets, it's terrible. I'm sorry, but the FA Cup should be for the fans, and so should the League Cup. There's 100,000 capacity. Is it 90 or 95 at Wembley?
90, I think they use as a capacity for
right.
the cup games, yeah. 90.
Right. So then for me, give 40,000 each to each club, right? Let them have a 5,000 or whatever, 10,000. Well, actually, 42,500 they should give. And if the other club can't sell it out, for instance, if we do, and it's looking like this could happen, play Liverpool, they've got more support than us anyway, right? So they should have 42.5, and so should we. And then 5,000, let them sprinkle around the whole league. They're not, it's just going to be a joke, I'm sorry. And you know what? It'll teach them right if it is a Reading-Blackburn final. Because it pisses me off, it really does. Really gets my goat every year, and every year it's just getting worse.
Yes, indeed.
That's my rant.
You both made some excellent points.
She's worse than half the people at Arsenal Fan TV, isn't she?
Yeah, well, the last time I was on Arsenal Fan TV, the first and last ever time I'll be on Arsenal Fan TV.
I didn't know you such a. I never knew you such a ranter. I'm not sure about that.
I'm passionate.
Blackburn.
You caught me, Robbie.
That, mate.
Excuse me, you caught me as I came out of Tottenham. What do you expect? Well, I'm going to go, oh, hi, I've had a lovely afternoon, thank you. No, I am like a woman possessed.
That's why they banned you from Wembley. So they're going to give you a ticket.
Can you imagine if I don't get a ticket?
It's not worth thinking about.
All right, let's get some order to the proceedings. Let's talk some order to the proceedings. Let's go on to a couple of listener questions. First one we've got is from @Tunsdev, and he asks, is it me, or does Arsenal seem more motivated to win competitions compared to previous seasons? Don't know. What do you reckon, man? The short answer. Does he seem more motivated?
Sorry, you cut out then. Say that again.
Do you want me to repeat the question? Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please, yeah.
It's from @Tunsdev, and he asks, is it me, or does Arsenal seem more motivated to win competitions as compared to previous seasons?
No, I don't think he's any different. I think he's under more pressure. But I don't think he's any different. I think he's exactly the same, and he says the same things. Remember when I had that little one-to-one with him, he said exactly the same thing he did to Martin Keown about the remit, about being the Champions League. So, no, I just think it's year after year. I don't deny he loves the club. I don't deny any of that. I just think it's time for a change.
Cool. All right, Robbie, quickly, what do you think?
I'm going to get slated for that. Go on.
No, you know what? I think that him winning that trophy last season has probably given him the appetite again now to go on and try and win more. And you definitely see he's playing stronger teams in things like the FA Cup, where years gone by, he never took some of those trophies seriously. That's one of the reasons why we went so many years without winning a trophy. I mean, we could have won some of these trophies if Arsenal had taken some of these competitions a bit more serious. And I think now you're beginning to see him take every competition seriously, which is really good to see.
Okay, cool. All right, next question is from @LeeSheridan10, and he asks, would you start Walcott and Alexis on the wings with Giroud up front against West Ham? Robbie.
Oh yeah, I probably would actually. I think it's time to get Theo back into the team, especially with the Ox out. Yeah, I think I would. And you know, we need to get Theo back scoring, because we've got that game against Monaco next week, and Theo is a goal scorer. So if Theo has a good game against West Ham, that will fill him up with confidence going into that game against Monaco. And we really need goals in that game if we're going to try and pull off a miracle. So yeah, I like the sound of that starting three. Danny Welbeck's probably a bit exhausted from the other night, so yeah, I think that'd be a good starting lineup.
Amanda?
Yeah, I agree with Robbie, actually. Yeah, I can't add much more to that.
That's a first.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Won't last.
All right. Let's move on to one more for now. We've got Mark King, as you know, a good mate of ours, at MZK90.
Who? Who? Oh, him. Yeah.
Yeah, he asks, are you concerned at the number of headers we concede from, especially where Koscielny is involved? Now, he's obviously talking about Monday night. I was with him standing together in the away end, and he put it down to Koscielny's bad positioning. I mean, the cross was brilliant, but also, you know, for me, Mertesacker was way too far apart from Koscielny and allowed Rooney the free header. But I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think that, Koscielny's at fault for a lot of headers? I mean, you could talk about the Tottenham header, I suppose, Leicester earlier in the season. You know, what do you think, Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, listen, they do need to tighten up in that area. And that was one of the things they did very well last season. It just seems sometimes like there's a bit of lapse in concentration from both of them. And, yeah, it does concern me. We do need to tighten up in that area. And another thing I do think is that on many occasions, the crosses are coming in far too easily. We've got to stop the crosses from coming in. We've got to, players allow sometimes, I mean, like Di Maria on Monday is a brilliant cross, but he seems to have all day long to line it up. I mean, a guy like that, he gets closed down, he can put it on a sixpence. Wasn't that alone? You give him all day long.
But didn't Sanchez slip just before he managed to turn it back onto his left foot? I mean, Sanchez was running back and then he slipped, he fell.
Yeah, I just felt that he had too much time.
Yeah,
he just had too much time to get that cross in, and I've been seeing that all season, that players have had too much time to pick their pass, to pick their cross. And you know, when you're dealing with world-class players, you cannot give them the time like that. They will hurt you, and that's exactly what they did.
Amanda?
She agrees with me again.
I've never really thought about it before, to be honest, until you just mentioned it. Mark said it. It's not really been a concern of mine, because I was a bit upset the cross was able to come in, to be honest. It was a great cross, wasn't it, to his head. He shouldn't have been able to get in between. He shouldn't have been able to. I said that before, didn't I? But we haven't got the best defence, have we? We haven't got the Adams and the Keown or the Bold and the Campbells, so we have to make do with what we've got, unfortunately. Okay.
Do you guys think that we can get back to? I mean, like, as you said, Robbie, last season we didn't see so much of that. Do you think Mertesacker and Koscielny can get back to those more defensively solid displays, or do you think that one or two of them are probably showing signs of what's the word, regression?
To me, I definitely think Mertesacker's starting to be a fading force, and I think, like, come the end of the season, I mean, I know we just bought Gabriel. I think we still need to look at that centre-back position, just strengthen it again, because I don't know if Mertesacker, he's getting older, and I think he's done very well for Arsenal. But I just think now that I'm looking at it and I'm thinking your centre-back has to have a bit more pace than what Mertesacker has. And if you're looking at a lot of centre-backs now that don't have that pace, they're kind of getting found out. You even see at Chelsea, Cahill is finding it hard at the moment to get into the team, and Zuma's getting in ahead of him. And a lot of that's to do with the fact that Zuma has got that pace and is able to recover from mistakes a lot quicker. So I'd say probably Mertesacker is, coming towards the end at Arsenal. No disrespect to him, but I think it is, his time is coming. But Koscielny has still got many years left, and I'm still a big fan of Koscielny, although he does need to sort out some of these little lapses of concentration that he has sometimes.
Amanda, I mean, this week has been, the press has been littered with Arsenal being linked to Subotic, to Shah, to this person, to that, but it all seems to be the central defensive position. We know that sometimes AFC or Arsenal like to throw, a few bones out in the media just to see how they react and whatnot. So we don't know whether it's smoke and mirrors or if there's any fire to that smoke. But I mean, what do you think of the whole Mertesacker, Koscielny situation? Do you think they can still get back to their old partnership, or do you think that we should be looking towards having Gabriel come in, or start more, and eventually maybe in the summer look to bring in another centre half?
Yeah, I think we should bring. I find it weird calling him Gabriel. I just call him Paulista. It's not even his name. Yeah, it's a shame he got a little tweak. Is he back or is he not fit?
Still
we know.
Still a couple of weeks, I think.
It's a hamstring.
So in Arsenal time, that's about 6 weeks. Yeah, I like him. I like the look of him. I mean, we can't really rate him yet, but I do like the look of him. I still think we need another centre half. I don't think Mertesacker can what's the word? Can do it. I think he's too slow. You know how I feel about him. I love him as a person. I love him in the team, but he does worry me with his pace a little bit. He does turn quite slowly, doesn't he? This Koscielny and Mertesacker. Koscielny used to make Mertesacker definitely a lot better. Definitely, he definitely gave him that confidence, but. We're muddling through at the moment, aren't we? We're not doing too bad in the league. We're in the semi-final of the FA Cup. It's just a shame that, and I've said this time and time again, he didn't buy what we needed because he had the facility to do it. He had the money. We could have easily challenged for the league, definitely this year, because I don't think anyone's outstanding at the moment.
Agree with you.
Oh my God! Did you say you agreed?
Yeah, no. Listen, you know what? It's funny what you said there, Amanda. Right? We was actually talking about that today, and that is exactly what I said. Is that the thing that really kind of gets me a bit mad is that there is no outstanding. You look at it. We haven't done that great in the league this season, but we're still like only 4 points behind City, and
yeah,
I just don't think that look how rubbish United have been this season, and look, they're still a point behind us. There hasn't been no outstanding team. Even Chelsea, all right, they started off with a bang, but they have really dropped off recently, and they've been quite fortunate in some of their games even to get points. And I just think that if we'd have gone out there and just gone that extra mile at the start of the season, especially defensively, we could be challenged in this season. This could have been our season, and that's the thing that really upsets me. Yeah,
it is a shame. All right, let's move on to some fairly new news. We've heard that, or breaking news, Bellerin is has he signed a new deal? Is about to sign a new deal, which is great news. I think he's come on leaps and bounds this season. I mean, he's still got a lot to improve on, but what we've seen, I don't think anyone can really complain. He's a breath of fresh air. But what I want to ask you guys is, what does this mean for Jenkinson?
Well, I always thought Jenkinson was going to start West Ham about 6 months ago anyway. Nothing to do with how Monreal's come on, or Bellerin, or Chambers, or any of them. I honestly thought, sorry, not Monreal. You know what I'm saying? I honestly thought he was going to stay. I think he suits West Ham very well. West Ham love him. he gets to play every single bloody game. Why would he want to come back? I know he's the passionate gooner. Maybe in time he'll come back, but he's got to look at his football career first over his passion for the club, and I think he'll stay there. I think as long as we don't ask silly money, West Ham will buy him.
And there's go on, Robbie, go on.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad, really, because, you know, the guy, it's just the way football works. You know, he goes out on loan, and then when he goes out on loan, the player that's come in for him gets injured and practically misses half of the season. So if he was still had been there, he would have been probably playing week in, week out at Arsenal. And then the young kid who's probably like third to fourth choice comes in and is brilliant. And he just sees his opportunity, hasn't he, Bellerin? And I don't think now, I don't think that Jenkinson will come back because Bellerin has been so good. And Bellerin, you know, you look at him and you think to yourself, how good is he going to be in the next, say, couple of years? He's going to be excellent. And he's already getting big game experience. So that means going into next season, he's going to be match ready all the time. I mean, to be honest, Debuchy's going to have problems getting back into the team the way Bellerin's playing. Maybe not so much this season when he comes back, but like next season, because Bellerin has just been a revelation. Him and Coquelin, those two have just come out of nowhere and just taken Arsenal by storm this season.
Let me put two things to you guys. First thing, Bellerin going back to Barcelona, is there a chance if he continues on this upward curve that we find he's still got a Barcelona DNA and they come and nab him, in which case would we be stupid to let go of Jenkinson? Second thing is, and I suppose this is more sort of going on you guys' point, is next year 2016 is the European Championships. Jenkinson's going to want to start so he can be in the England reckoning. I was thinking today, I don't know who is the England starting right back. Is there a clear kind of favourite for Hodgson at right back? If not, then Jenkinson will certainly fancy his chances of getting in the England squad for next year, wouldn't he?
Definitely, and you know, what is there? Walker at Spurs, he hasn't been playing well.
Klein's there. Klein.
Yeah, I'd say Klein at the moment is the favourite for the position because he looks a player, a very, very good player. But yeah, I'd say Jenkinson would be looking at it and saying probably Klein's the player that's now, because Johnson's out of the frame as well for Liverpool. I mean, he's not performing either. So Jenkinson, I think Jenkinson's going to look on it and say, like what Amanda said, he's going to look at it and think, I'm playing week in, week out here. Not just am I playing week in, week out, but I'm a very important part of this West Ham team. And when West Ham move to that big new stadium, they're going to be a different proposition as a football club all round. So I think Jenkinson will end up staying at West Ham. Bellerin's going to end up staying at Arsenal. And then remember, you've got Debuchy to come back and you've got Chambers. So it's really I really feel sorry for Jenkinson, but it's just the way football goes, and at least he knows that he'll still be a very good club.
Amanda, quickly, I mean, should we be worried about Bellerin's Barcelona DNA if he continues to improve over the next couple of years? No?
No point worrying, is there really?
Just get on with it.
Don't worry about things like that.
Coolio.
Just get on with it. And exactly what I said about Jenkinson, I think he'll look at the fact that he's going to be a bigger fish in a smaller pond there, isn't he? Cool. Is that bigger fish in a small, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to try and race through this quickly. I know you're wavering. I know you're wavering.
No, I'm all right. I'm okay. It's not my bedtime yet.
All right, okay. So the next question is...
It's okay, John. It's okay. Westfield's closed.
It wears thin. Find another one, all right, Robbie? Find another one.
All right. Is Coquelin the answer? And I'm asking that in terms of, do you see him as the answer? We don't need to spend money on a defensive midfielder in the summer. We can go out and buy, maybe prioritise another position, as you were saying, maybe centre-back, or maybe an all-rounder central midfielder. Would you like to still see a DM, or do you think more of a box-to-box coming? You'd
we've
say,
got that with Ramsey.
But we could always get better quality. We could always get better quality.
But I think, Coquelin's had a good 4 months. We can't be raving yet, can we? We definitely need a DM. Definitely. Okay,
Robbie?
Coquelin has been absolutely brilliant, and I'd still go and get another DM because we need more than one. So I'd still like to see us bring in somebody like a Schneidlin. But listen, Coquelin, he's been brilliant. It's as simple as that. You know, he's come in and he's done everything that's been asked of him. I mean, all I want to put to you is, if we had signed Coquelin, say we went out there and bought this guy and bought him in, and he hadn't been playing for Arsenal before that, we'd all be saying, I mean, we wouldn't even be having this conversation about buying another DM. We'd be just like, he's the answer. The only reason we have the doubts on him is because we keep thinking, well, he was there before, and where's this all come from? And it might all just fall apart. For me, we need to go and buy another DM, but he is the main man right now. And if he continues playing like how he's been playing this season, he deserves to keep his position, and whoever we bring in will have to fight to get into that position. But Coquelin, for me, right now, is one of the first players on the team sheet. Against United, against the other night, he was excellent. He's up against, I mean, you could see us in years gone by getting bullied in that game, in that midfield. You even saw, and because Coquelin played so well, they had to actually try and reinforce up that midfield by bringing in Carrick. They had Carrick, Blind, they had Fellaini dropping back in there, lots of physical presence, and Coquelin dealt with it. And he's been doing it game after game. And to me right now, he is one of the most important players in that Arsenal team. And listen, we got to just say, at the moment, he's the answer. But we need a strong squad. We don't want it to be like, you saw Chelsea with Matic. When he dropped out, they were able to bring in Zuma, who could cover that position, or Ramirez. That's what we need. We got to have like powerful players that can cover that position as well, in case if something does happen to him. But at the moment, Coquelin is the man.
And it was put to me earlier this week that actually, if anything, he might have proven to Wenger that we actually do need another specialist in that position. If anything, his performances this season have shown Wenger, actually, you know what? This DM role is a really, really key position. We need to go out and buy as good as we can. Let me just ask you though, is Schneidlin the answer? He's not a DM, is he? It's Wanyama that actually plays in front of the defence, doesn't he? If you look at it in that kind of double pivot, he's the man that fuels the defence, and Schneidlin is more of your authentic midfielder, no?
But Schneidlin can play that role where, you know, so there's been games when Wanyama hasn't played, where Schneidlin can play that role. And if you look at Schneidlin and you see his stats when it comes to things like tackles and that, he's very, very good. And he's a very good all-round player in that position. And remember, there are going to be some games as well where you may want to play like two DMs in there, you know. And I just think that, you know, yes, somebody like a Schneidlin, let's just strengthen that area. It's been, again, one of those positions over the years where we've had a weakness. Let's plug all of the weaknesses, so when we go in to play against teams, they fear us. And they don't look on it and say, well, you know what, we can exploit Arsenal in that area. Let's just really fill all those gaps.
Okay, all right, cool. We've got another question here from Peter N, one of your mates, Amanda, is at Gooner1947. And he asked, do you guys, like me, feel nervous with Szczesny in goal? His confidence appears to be quite low. Amanda, does he scare you?
That's what I said before, didn't he? When I had my head in my hands. He's just this. He's got this cockiness about him, hasn't he? Ospina doesn't have that cockiness, but Ospina's not. How can I put this? They're both very different goalkeepers. Ospina doesn't make me nervous the way Szczesny does. Okay, he doesn't make me, oh my God, Ches, what you doing? You know. I think we need a world-class goalkeeper. I mean, look what De Gea saved for United on Monday night. I mean, he was brilliant. I mean, I reckon he's given them at least 9 to 12 points in the league this year. That, you know, otherwise they'd have been mid-table.
Do we have patience with Ospina? Because remember last season, everybody was slating De Gea at Man United. He's too skinny. He's rubbish. He was getting so much grip.
Yeah.
So
you're absolutely right,
sometimes that you've got to have patience.
You do, yeah.
I mean, Ospina, he's only played about 10 games, and already people saying, yeah, he's done all right.
No,
I'm not
saying
with Robbie.
that, but he has pushed. He has. When he has gone to save a couple of the shots, he's pushed them out to the players instead of to the side.
Yeah, but De Gea was doing the same sort of things last year. He's a new keeper to a new league. He's got to get used to the league itself. He's got to get used to a different style of football. I think we need to be. I think more patience needs to be showed with Ospina. Let's see what he's like in a year's time. We can't just buy. The guy was one of the stars of the World Cup, David Ospina. When he played in France, he was considered to be like the best goalkeeper in France. So I just think that we need to have a bit more patience with him, with Ospina, because De Gea, as you saw last season, everybody didn't rate him, and now people are saying he's the best in the world. And with Szczesny, going back to Szczesny, I agree with you again, Amanda, and this is getting scary. Szczesny, I think, is a very good goalkeeper, but he just doesn't fill me with confidence. I just like a goalkeeper that keeps it simple, you know. And Szczesny sometimes, it's almost like he goes looking for problems, you know. Just keep it simple. And me comparing the two keepers recently, it must be hard for Szczesny because he's had every time he comes in now, any mistake is going to be highlighted. But I just think that when I look at Ospina, he keeps it simple. His distribution is pretty good, and it just seems safer to me than Szczesny. Just seems safer.
Robbie, there's a couple of points that you made that I agree with. I mean, I've been saying that it's too early to judge Ospina. Fans can be very knee-jerkery, especially about the goalkeeper position, because it's such a key and vital position. You know, he was rated one of the top 3 in France last season. He took over from Lloris when he went to Nice. I mean, you know, I think we've got to give him time. But then again, if a top-class goalkeeper comes available in the summer, I would be of the mind to let Szczesny go if he's not happy being number 2.
Yeah, you know, so obviously one of the people who's been suggested has been Peter Cech. We know he's solid. We know he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. If somebody like that became available and Szczesny didn't want to stay, I'm all for that. I'm all for going in. But I'm just saying that I just think with Ospina, you know, we've got to be more patient because we haven't even seen this guy for a season. So how can we judge him yet? And he hasn't made no major errors. He's made a couple of
Tottenham game.
You're going to see every goalkeeper make, but we can't look at him at the moment and say, "Oh, he looks like a dodgy keeper." Definitely not. He's made some good saves in games. He's done well on corners and things like that. I've been quite impressed with him so far. It's too early to judge him, but I just look at De Gea, and I hear commentators, some of those commentators who were slagging him off last season, now saying he's the best in the world.
Can I put this
nowadays?
Let me put this to you though. There's another theory that goes that Jerry Payton could be the reason why Szczesny stagnated. If you look at you're talking about David De Gea, one of his biggest influences was Eric Steele. When he came to Man United, it was Eric Steele that instilled him with a lot of confidence, that worked on his game, tweaked certain aspects of his game to improve De Gea to become the goalkeeper he is today. Jerry Payton, apparently, from what I understand, this is what I've heard, Szczesny doesn't even work with him in the training ground. Doesn't work with him. Refuses to work with him. And Szczesny has not improved for a long time. So we all go on about Szczesny's confidence.
That's Szczesny's fault then, isn't it? That is Szczesny's fault.
I mean,
he needs to listen, what Szczesny needs to do is go and talk to Francis Coquelin. And, you know, Francis Coquelin will tell him about, listen, getting your head down, right? And facing adversity and turning it around. It can be done. It's up to you as the player. You can either start moaning and start crying about it, or you can get out there and you can say to yourself, you know what, I've been dropped for a reason.
But
I need to improve here. I let myself down. Let me get, you know.
I understand that. You're talking about his arrogance, you know, and whatnot. But I'm talking about the actual coaching. there's a theory that the theory goes that the coach, and you've heard it, Amanda, about Jerry Payton. We've heard it for a little while now, that Jerry Payton isn't, up to the standard that's required. I mean, apparently he was given the job as a favour from Wenger to Joe Tigana, because Jerry Payton was at Fulham. I mean, from what I understand, he's not a very good goalkeeping coach, and it's not only that Chesney's a bit too arrogant, and that. Maybe it's about coaching elements of his game to improve, because he hasn't improved for a little while now.
It could be, and it maybe. I just say, listen, to me, the buck stops at Chesney. The coach never told him to be in the showers smoking, right? After putting in one of the worst performances of the season. The buck stops with him. He needs to have a long look at himself. He's a talented keeper. I remember when he was at Brentford, I had a friend who's a fan there, and he said he's the best keeper he's ever seen. He's got the talent. He has definitely got the talent to be one of the best keepers around, but it's up to him. He's got to take this seriously. He's got to focus. And we've seen players over the years. Guys, I was looking the other day at Emmanuel Frimpong and thinking to myself, that DM position that Coquelin's playing in, you were sort of the front runner for that. But you weren't focused, and you was more concerned with Twitter and Dench and things like that. And where are you now? And where is Coquelin, who went out on loan to Charlton and got an opportunity and seized his opportunity, or somebody like Bellerin who seized his opportunity? It's down to you as an individual. You can blame coaches, it's down to you. If you've got the talent, you've got to be focused. And I just look at Chesney sometimes and I think, you've got the talent, but are you focused? Even during games, are you focused for that full 90 minutes, or do you sort of doze off at times? And is that why you make stupid mistakes? I mean, the other day, the game where Ospina came out, where Gabriel made that mistake, and Ospina came out and he tackled Everton and he tackled Lukaku. I could have just seen Chesney in that game causing a penalty, because for a split second he might have switched off, and I think that is the difference at the highest level. You've got to be concentrated.
Okay, cool. Right, look, let's move on to another question. We've got a couple more questions. They're all around the same subject. The first one is from Mozola, and he asks, should we still fear Walcott? In my opinion, should be starting, but I can understand if Wenger doesn't like him because of his work rate. I mean, Amanda, what do you think? Walcott, why isn't Wenger starting him? Is it because he's nursing him back from the ACL injury? It might be a confidence thing, or do you think that Wenger doesn't really rate his work rate when you compare him to someone like a Oxlade-Chamberlain? Unfortunately, he was 3 weeks out, and Danny Welbeck and so on and so forth. What do you think it's to do with the contract situation?
Do you know what? I'm a loss with this. I don't understand what he's doing with Theo, because if he's trying to get him fit, he's not giving him any match time. If he was changed on Monday night, ready to come on, then Knox got injured and he wanted to bring Ramsey on instead. I think that was the sub, wasn't it? Or was that Coquelin? Oh, I'm confused.
I think so, yeah.
It's late.
It was Ramsey, yeah.
Right, but I got a message saying, oh, you're doing a double sub, and don't be ridiculous, we never do a double sub, unless it's panic stations with 10 minutes to go. And Theo was quite angry, he didn't come on, blah, blah, blah. Right, I don't understand. Is it the fact that maybe he won't sign a contract? Is it the fact that mentally he's not right after a year out? Maybe we need to give him some time, but we're not giving him any time because he's not playing. So he's on the bench every game. Maybe he'll start Saturday. I don't know. I mean, the boys have got, it's not much of a break, is it? They'll be back, Tuesday morning, late Monday night, Tuesday morning. They're training Friday for Saturday. Maybe he'll bring in, is Rosicky fit? Is he okay?
Yeah, he should be. Yeah.
He's fit,
right,
fit.
So he didn't play, so maybe we'll see a bit of a different team against West Ham. The thing is, we know there's never any easy games. Forget it, right? Every single game we play now is like a cup final. We've got to win every single one, or at least not to lose at least one. So we're under pressure. Theo could bring us something different. I don't know if he's mentally ready, if it's I don't know. I'm lost with this, because to get a player fit, they need playing time, but he's not getting it. What do you think, Robbie?
I just think that it's a matter of either easing him back in. I really do think that. I don't think it's anything against Theo. I think Theo's got to earn his position back. The guys that have come in and played on the right-hand side, Oxlade-Chamberlain has been one of our best players this season. So how can he just come back and just jump ahead of Ox? No. You got to earn your way back in. Alexis can play in that position, and he's very dynamic when he does so as well. So I just think with Theo, it's a kind of, in a way, it's a bit of a good thing because you haven't got to rush him back. You can ease him back in, and then at some time unleash him. I'm hoping that when they're going to unleash him is on Tuesday against Monaco. I think that might be the time for Theo to come in and bang in a couple of goals. But I just think it's just literally that. I just think they're looking, Wenger's looking on it and saying, I've got so many options there at the moment. I'm just going to take time with Theo. I'm going to take my time, and instead of one of the things that he always gets criticised for, rushing players back, he ain't doing it now. He's getting slagged off again. So
I'm not criticising Wenger. I just don't understand.
Can I just ask you? You've made a point there, Robbie, about you wanting to come back, score, banging a couple of goals. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem. When before he was laying on goals, he was the assist king. When we had Van Persie, he was laying on loads of chances for him to get his goals, as well as chipping in with a few himself. We've got Giroud up front. He's the main man. If you're coming in on the wing, apart from the defensive work rate, maybe he's being a bit too selfish. Maybe he's looking to get himself in all the time, and not think about the team.
I just think that Theo Walcott is one thing about him. He's a goal scorer. You look at his record. He's a goal scorer, he always scores a goal. Yeah, so he will get his opportunity. I think he will get his opportunity. But I honestly think it's just a case of Arsene Wenger saying, I'm just going to take my time and ease him in. I'm not going to rush him back. I've got lots of options out there, and I'm taking my time to bring him back in. And I don't think it's anything more sinister than that.
Okay, cool. All right, let's move this one on. We've got another question from @SWGunners1, and he or she asked, do you think we should add Cavani, Schneiderlin and Hummels? And do you think that would make us... Do you think we could win the title next year with those three guys? Robbie, quickly, what do you think?
Well, I think Schneiderlin's definitely a player we might add. The others are going to be very expensive. I'm all Cavani, I like him sometimes, and then other times I think, the sort of money they're talking about, is he worth it? Same with Hummels. He's that great a player, but look where Dortmund are at the moment. Listen, we do need to strengthen in those areas going into the next season. I don't know, maybe we should look at somebody like Lacazette at Lyon. Somebody on a bit more fresher than, say, somebody like Cavani, who's been a big name for years, but hasn't really been delivering over the past couple of years. So we need to strengthen, but maybe not necessarily those three names.
Amanda? What do you reckon?
Oh, don't ask me. I don't want to talk about it.
All right.
I don't talk about transfers or players coming in and out. You know that, even on the podcast I'm on. I just don't talk. I haven't even read a paper this week. So you can talk about your rumours. You can talk about... We just know that we need a top-class striker, probably another centre-half and a DM. So choose what you want.
Coolio. All right, let's move on. All right, next question. Have we finally turned the corner? Finally. I mean, we've been here quite a few times this season. Man City. We're here again. Man United victory. It all looks hunky-dory. Have we really, turned the corner? Because you guys were saying we're only 4 points behind Man City. Second place isn't out of the realms of possibility. Do you think we can go on? Do you think we will, not can, but will go on to really, really nail down these last 10 games of the season? Because we've got quite a good run in, really, haven't we?
We've got a decent run in. I think we've turned the corner psychologically.
We were here already, but we were here with Man United, with Man City.
Yeah, but I think psychologically we've turned the corner. We've beaten Manchester United away. We've beaten Manchester City away. Psychologically, those players now know that, listen, we can go to those places and we can get results. And I think that's a big corner that we've turned. I'm not even talking about the running. I'm not even talking about, where we'll end up. I just think moving forward, those 2 victories are very, very important, because there's been almost like a mental block when it's come to Arsenal in going to certain clubs over the years. And I think in that aspect, we have turned a corner.
Amanda?
Robbie. Generally, most of the time I'm quite positive about my club, our club, right? How many times have we seen this? For a start, if you want to ask me that question after West Ham, then I'll answer it properly. If we beat West Ham convincingly and have a great game and go for it and turn up and everything, then yeah, I'd say we turn a corner. But remember, we play West Ham, then we play Monaco.
You know
now,
what?
I don't know if you're going to discuss it, sorry, but personally I've said all along that we will win in Monaco, but we will win 2-0, because that is so Arsenal to do that, you know. Do I think... I just have a slight feeling about Monaco that there is a chance I could be wrong and it could be 3-0. I don't know. But I'm gutted what happened. Well, the thing is, we're capable. We get one out there. The problem is we've got to stop them scoring. That's the issue, isn't it? We can get 2 or 3 goals. I don't think that's the issue for us. If Giroud... I've always said this about... I'm so mixed on my views about Giroud. I tell you, I really am. I think he's great in so many aspects and shit in so many others, and I can't work out whether I like him or not. But he does do well for us, certainly in the link-up play and the hold-up play, and definitely. He takes his first chance, we will win the game. If he fluffs his first chance in any game, he's useless. So it's all about confidence with him. So if we're going to discuss whether we've turned a corner... all right, West Ham and Monaco will be definitely the ones that I will be able to say yes or no. I couldn't say it now because we were shite against Monaco and brilliant against United. So what does that tell you?
Let me ask you guys this: the fact that we got through to the FA Cup semi-final means we're one step closer to defending the trophy. Do you think that takes the kind of pressure off the boys going into Monaco next week? If we'd have lost against Man United, it would be like, oh gosh, this is it. We can only get like 3rd or whatever, and we really have to do something against Monaco. Whereas now, chances are, betting wise, you'd bet, or a betting man would probably put some money on Arsenal winning the FA Cup. Do you think that's taking a bit of pressure? Go on, Robbie.
Without a doubt, you're spot on there. It's taking the pressure right off them for that Monaco game, because if they would have lost to United, then it would be like, lose to Monaco, be out. It'd be like the usual thing in March, season's over. That win, that's what I mean, psychologically, it was absolutely massive. There's no pressure now, I don't think, especially with Chelsea going out as well. I don't think there's any pressure on Arsenal now going into that game. Most people expect them to go out. They don't think they're going to be able to go over there and turn it around. And they can just go out there and go for it. And if they do go out, people will be like, all right, well, at least we've still got something else to play for, and we can actually finish higher in the league than we did last year. It's not ideal. We all want to be going for the title, but I do think that victory was really massive on Monday, and it has taken a lot of the pressure off them going into that Monaco game.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, I agree with Robbie there. I think beating Man United has given me more confidence about beating Monaco, not because we've beaten them, it's because it's raised our confidence. We've got nothing to lose, have we, out there? Most, would say journalists, pundits will say we're out. So, but if you look at last night and you look at PSG and Chelsea, you could tell Chelsea were nervous. There was only 1 goal in it.
And you even look at that game with Schalke, that they went to the Burnley and scored 4 goals. And if you look at it, we've gone to Old Trafford and scored 2. Now, if, say, we was playing Monaco and the result was the same, 2-1, we'd only need 1 more goal, and then it'd be going into extra time. So
this is why I always love, Robbie, playing the second game away.
Still it's possible.
Yeah, but I think playing the second game away from home I've always loved. I wouldn't want to be home on Monday night if that was the score. If we were 3-1 up, it is always a worry for me with the away goals. So playing away in Monaco, I think, is giving us an advantage. I know people won't understand my thinking on that, but we get one goal, it's going to be panic stations for Monaco. And when teams panic against us, Alexis could pounce, Ozil could pounce, and whoever else is playing could pounce.
Yeah, you're right.
What my concern is...
Throw Walcott into the mix there with, let's say, maybe Giroud through the middle, and you could even go Welbeck, Walcott and Alexis. Go with some electrical pace in that game. You know, you could, and as you said, get an early goal. There'd be real frighteners on Monaco.
Do you see Wenger using Welbeck in that game? I mean, what we needed against Man United was to press them, harry their defence. Giroud, for all his ability as a hold-up player and, you know, getting in on a near post, he's not got the physicality, the pace. I mean, we're going to need to put them under pressure quite early in the game, aren't we?
Yeah, I can see him going Welbeck. I really can. I can see him going Welbeck. I could maybe even a 4-4-2. You know what? We're going to have to be adventurous in the game. All right, we can't go gun-ho right from the start, but what have we got to lose? We've got to score goals, you know, and if we got 2 goals, you know, in that game, even if it was 2-1, as I said, you'd have a very nervy Monaco, because even if it was 2-1 and then we scored, and, you know, it doesn't really change much. We still got to score 3. So the mission is to score 3 goals, and we've kind of seen this week. Chelsea last night, to me, lost that game because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know whether to stick or twist. And Mourinho just resorted to his normal sticking. And, you know, PSG had 10 men and they just went out and out for it and they won the game. The night before Schalke, they were 1 goal away from pulling off a miracle in the Bernabeu. So it's not impossible. I mean, I very much doubt, and I'll be going out there and I'll be praying for a miracle. I very much doubt we'll be able to do it. But I think the couple of things that are in our favour is that we know we've got to do, and also Monaco are not that sort of experienced Champions League team like, you know, some of the other big boys that, you know, will be able to hold on if, you know, like a Bayern Munich and that. They would get nervous if Arsenal got a couple of goals. So it should be an interesting game.
And Amanda, let me put that to you. Would you start with Giroud? I mean, who has come back after the Monaco game to I mean, he's really done well. I mean, he probably feeling he was unlucky. He might have felt unfortunate to miss out on a Man United game. But, you know, would you start with him, or would you use Welbeck in as much the same way as we used him on Monday?
I'm not... I don't know, because it depends what happens Saturday and who gets injured and I don't know what team do you think he'll put out Saturday? Do you think he'll start with Welbeck?
Let's just assume that both of them. Let's just assume that both of them come through Saturday unscathed. They're both fit for Tuesday. Who would you go with?
I'd probably say Giroud. Funny enough, I think the one thing that we have to do on Tuesday is go at them like a ton of bricks for the first 40, the first half. We have to go at them, and we need to shell shock them. We need to get our 3 goals, and then we need to play with a bit of common sense. And do you know what? I don't know what I was listening to, what podcast or radio station, I can't remember. But I do not understand why, when you're winning a game with 5 minutes to go, you go gung-ho, when you should be taking that ball into the corner flag and fighting for your life with it. Are they not taught this anymore, to go to the corner flag?
Yeah, I saw that.
Are they not? I just don't get it. I don't understand why you'd want to lose possession. So it's really important, the Monaco game. I think we've got a really good chance, but I think the first half will be the telling. Keep Giroud, start with Giroud, and then bring Danny on. Do you know what I think? I think what he'll do, if there's 10 minutes to go and it's something stupid like 2-1, he's got to bring Theo on, he's got to bring Danny on, he's got to go for it. You've got 10 minutes, you know. It is going to be one of probably the most stressful games that we would have played in this season. When you think about it, especially if we're winning it. But you know, there's this old question, and I want to ask you two this question because it's been bothering me for a long time. Why are we in, and why are we bothered about competition? We can't win or we won't win. So I have this issue. Yes, I always love being top four, of course. I never see being fourth as a trophy. As other clubs think that's how we see it, it's not. I just think that it's important for us to be in the Champions League, but it seems like a non-entity because we just don't get any... Look, you know, if a miracle happens and we beat Monaco, we're going to face one of the top teams in the world. It worries me. That's all. That was only my point.
Robbie, do you want to answer that?
Do you even know where to go with that?
Well, I'll tell you what.
You've got to listen. You've got to be in it to win it.
Listen,
Simple
what we've seen this week. I mean, we've seen quite a few We've seen obviously Schalke glorious failure. We've seen PSG be brave and win against the odds. It's a cup competition. Anything can happen. In 2006, not many people gave us any chance in hell of going to Bernabeu and winning there, or Juventus, or whoever it was that we beat along the way to get to the final in 2006 with a makeshift defence. The chances are against us in terms of getting through this tie and going on to the final. But you never know. It's a cup competition. Any given day, you never know. And in terms of qualifying to Champions League, yes, once Wenger calls time on his Arsenal career, he said he wants his legacy is to leave the club in his best position as he possibly can for the next guy coming in, and that means leaving them, going into a Champions League campaign for the following season, and that speaks volumes. I don't think it's just about being in there just for the money and being, for the kudos of saying we're in the Champions League. I believe he wants to win it. I'm just not sure he's capable of winning it. But let him. I hope that he keeps us in there so the next guy coming in will have the best possible platform for which to work on.
Definitely.
Would you say that, Amanda?
Right on, Giles. Right on.
All right. And with that, I think that's a good place to call it time on the pod. I want to thank you both for coming on, Robbie and Amanda, at short notice. Have you got anything to say to our long-suffering Chelsea fans? I mean, they were crying like babies last night, but at least when they listen to this podcast, you think it'll perk them up somewhat?
No.
I'll let Robbie speak and then I'll go.
Listen. You're not unbeaten anymore. That's all I can say. I mean, what made me laugh is that at the start of the season, they were talking about trebles, quadruples, going the season unbeaten. Listen, it's not as easy as that. Only one team ever done that, and that's the Arsenal. And what I really want to know is what has happened to Cesc Fabregas? What has happened to him? There's a lot of people, a few months ago saying that, we should have bought him. Look how well Santi Cazorla's playing at the moment, and look how Cesc Fabregas is playing at the moment. Listen, as I said right then, Cesc is a great player, and I'm not saying that he's become a bad player, but we didn't need Cesc Fabregas. We needed a defensive midfielder because we've got players who can do that Cesc Fabregas role, and you're seeing that with Santi Cazorla. He has been brilliant this season. And
Diego Costa hasn't scored. Is that right? Hasn't scored a goal in 2015. Am I right?
Diego Costa's not, and he's not scored a goal in the Champions League. Diego Costa.
Wow, there you go.
Seems to do more posturing in boxing. Maybe you should put him in with Mayweather or Pacquiao.
Amanda.
Right. Well, as everybody knows, I'm normally on the Gooner Girls podcast, but I do come on to yours because it's good fun. And we do the Arsenal Fan TV big discussion, whatever you call it. And obviously, I do read some of the YouTube comments, which are just hilarious. I would like to say to you all, they really don't bother me, and they are quite funny, and we do laugh at them. I don't need to justify why I go to football. I don't need to do any of that. Don't need to say I've been going 40 years. I love my club as much as anyone else does. But what does make me laugh is when you get Man United fans or Chelsea fans or Tottenham fans coming on and slagging me off. It's brilliant. It's good fun. You carry on. But the best quote I heard last night was Zlatan Ibrahimovic when he was interviewed and said, I was with the referee and 11 babies were surrounding the referee. I just thought that was the best analogy of the night. Seriously, Chelsea fans, you know, yes, you have won some silverware recently, and in our eyes you don't have much history, but you know what, worry about your own club before coming on and worrying about our club. I've never seen so many Chelsea fans on an Arsenal website sort of thing, you know. It's brilliant. Obviously we bother them. I just that was just the best quote. I'm not stopped laughing about the 11 babies. I mean, I thought Man United were bad, but Chelsea surrounded them last night. But it is good to hear all your views and everything, and just really enjoy it. Thanks for having me anyway.
All right, so that's been another Arsenal Fan TV podcast. I've been your host, Giles. It's been great to have Robbie, both Amanda and Robbie on, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you and good night. Come on, the Gunners. I thought you could say
always Arsenal.
I was waiting for you to say that. Guys, thank you.
You're going to cut that bit out where I go, can you cut that bit out where I go, well, I was going to say something because it sounds a bit stupid, but I was going to tell them all to fuck off, but